Let's start by understanding the larger picture. Black immigrants in Canada come from a wide range of countries, cultures, and backgrounds, places like Jamaica, Nigeria, Ghana, Haiti, and Somalia. Each of these communities brings its own rich traditions and history. But this diversity also means we don't always have a shared experience when it comes to integration. In many cases, the first challenge Black immigrants face is systemic racism. Studies show that Black people in Canada experience higher rates of unemployment and underemployment compared to other racial groups, even when they have the same qualifications. This alone can make it difficult to find stable work, and by extension, it makes it harder to integrate into Canadian society. But how does this tie into the idea that we don't work together? Well, economic struggles can lead to competition within communities. And when resources are scarce, it can feel like everyone is fighting for survival instead of lifting each other up. One of the big challenges is that Black immigrants don't always form a single unified community. While we share the experience of being Black in Canada, our backgrounds, languages, and cultures can be very different. This fragmentation can sometimes prevent us from working together in a cohesive way. For example, a Black immigrant from Nigeria might have a very different experience than someone from Jamaica. These differences can create divides, not out of malice, but because it's hard to find common ground when the challenges and experiences vary so widely. Plus, Canada's geography doesn't help. Black communities are spread out across the country, which limits the ability to build a strong network of support. Another reason why integration can be tough is the systemic barriers in place. Let's talk about employment discrimination, housing inequality, and the lack of representation in positions of power. These are obstacles that individual efforts can't always overcome. We often hear about the need for resilience, but the truth is, collective action is just as important. But here's the problem. Without a strong, unified community, it's harder to mobilize for change. When Black immigrants don't have the networks, mentorship programs, or social structures in place, they end up isolated and disconnected from both their own communities and the broader Canadian society. So why aren't we working together more? One possible answer is that the fight for basic survival, whether it's securing jobs or housing, takes up so much of our energy that there isn't always space for community building. On top of that, not everyone feels welcomed within their own racial or ethnic groups due to these internal differences. But here's the thing. Working together doesn't mean we all have to be the same. It means finding common ground, creating opportunities, and supporting each other despite our differences. Now, let's talk about what we can do. One of the most important steps is building stronger networks within the Black community, whether it's mentorship programs, entrepreneurship circles, or even just social groups. These connections help us uplift one another. There are already great organizations in Canada that work toward this. For example, the Black Business and Professional Association, BBPA, offers mentorship and career development for Black professionals across the country. But we need more of these initiatives at every level, especially for newcomers. New immigrants often don't know where to start or who to turn to, and that's where community support becomes crucial. Additionally, education and awareness within our own communities about the power of unity can go a long way. By connecting across cultural lines, we can learn from each other and create a more supportive environment. We should also be looking at building alliances with other marginalized communities, since collective advocacy is often more powerful than going it alone. So, how do we move forward? First, it's about acknowledging the problem. There are systemic barriers, and the community can feel fragmented. But we need to address that fragmentation head on. This means creating spaces where Black immigrants from different countries and backgrounds can connect, share experiences, and find common goals. Second, we need to advocate for policy changes that address the root causes of inequality by pushing for fair employment practices, affordable housing, and better access to education. We can remove some of the barriers that make it so difficult for Black immigrants to integrate into Canadian society. Finally, let's not forget the power of supporting Black businesses, organizations, and creators. When we support each other financially and socially, we build a foundation for success. Remember, integration doesn't mean assimilation. It means creating a space where we can thrive while maintaining our unique identities. To wrap it up, the challenges Black immigrants face in integrating into Canadian society are complex and layered. But the idea that we're not working together is something we can change. By building stronger networks, supporting one another, and advocating for systemic change, we can overcome many of these obstacles. It's about collective action, and it's about lifting each other up.